Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Our special guest, House of Representative Mary Bentley. We're going to talk about solving the foster care crisis in Arkansas. We'll be right back. Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm Perry Black, and on this show we have a very special guest all the way from the state capitol. Is that where you live? You live downtown?
No, I live right 9 miles from the ranch, from Second Chance Ranch. I
You
live
live
out at Williams Junction.
Perryville, 298, Owens.
Williams Junction, that little spot, the little Y in the road in between Perryville and.
So are you a country girl?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did I mention to the audience your name, Mary Bentley?
I'm not sure if you did or not.
Well, we have on the show tonight, we have Mary Bentley. She's with the House of Representatives, been with the House of Representatives for about 9 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And God willing, and the voters voting,
right.
You have up to how many more years you could serve?
Serve another 7 years, so a total of 16
What would
years.
happen when you term limit out? Would you be able then to retire or run for senator or something?
Well, I could not serve in the legislature. I'd have to sit out for 4 years, and then I could run for senator if the Lord willing.
So the way term limits work, once you term out, you have to wait for a period of time before you can run for another legislative office.
Right. Arkansas is a little bit unique. We had a 6-year term limit for a little bit, and you couldn't come back. Now we have changed that. So now, anyway, I was in there when it was 16 years, now it's to 12. But since I was in there, we were grandfathered in for 16. But we have to sit out for 4 years before we can run again.
Well, that's confusing that you would get to be grandfathered in. Can you explain that? What's that mean when somebody's grandfathered in?
So if you're in office when a particular bill is enacted, then you can stay under where it was previously.
And they call that being grandfathered. See, the stuff people learn on this show may be irrelevant, but it is interesting to me.
Well, great.
You know, as you notice, Mary, on my shirt, I'm wearing "End the,"
yes.
What's that say, foster care crisis?
Yes, I love it.
You're very involved with what we do at Second Chance Ranch as a friend of mine, sort of, kind of. I mean, it's not like we eat dinner or anything.
Right.
But we share the same passion for children and their education.
Yes.
What got you involved in the political arena? Because this is a Christian show on a Christian network, watched primarily by Christians, and some Christians really have an issue about, well, you know, preachers, you know how they are anyway.
Yeah.
Preachers should not be involved in politics. So I'm not really involved in politics, but I am engaged in social issues which politics plays a primary role in.
Well,
How'd you get involved?
Our nation wouldn't be here if we didn't have Christians involved in politics. We're a godly nation set up by people that believed in religious freedom, and that's why we're here. That's what established our country.
Contrary to what some politicians in Washington have said in the past, that we are not a Christian nation.
Correct,
If we go back to the original colonies, now I may give away my ignorance here, but I think there were 13 of them, and you couldn't even run for office unless you believed in the divinity and deity in God.
Yes, and you had to be a part of the church, and different colonies had different, some were Protestant, some were Catholic, different, so you had to be a part of their denomination, some to be elected in the beginning. So it was so we were a godly nation. We're set up on the Word of God, and that's what got our nation here. So I think people are wrong. Why wouldn't you want somebody that believes in the Lord and can hear the Holy Spirit to help you? Because issues like foster care, the Lord has the answer. So so we want him involved in solving the problems. And so
are you indicating, Representative, are you indicating that you would qualify to run for office had you been alive during the first 13 colonies, that you're a believer in God?
Yes, I would, definitely.
Tell me
about
it.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if they would let women run for office back then. We'll have to double check on that one.
Well,
but they were, I would say.
We'll work that out.
We'll go back to that further.
Our present generation issues into the past,
yes,
and you would qualify, because you're a believer in Jesus Christ.
No doubt.
All right, so before we get too personal, we're going to get real personal. Tell me about your faith. Do you attend church somewhere out in that Perry County, Saline County area?
Well, actually, I traveled to Mayflower to Living Truth Church with I have some precious grandchildren that I love to attend church with. So then I kind of double dip, let's put it that way.
So you attend Living Truth Church. Is there any other kind of truth other than Living Truth?
The truth.
You know, people say my truth and that's your truth. No, there's only one truth, and that's the living truth of Jesus Christ.
Exactly right.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up, well, my daddy was in the Air Force, So I was
You
born.
grew up everywhere then.
Yeah, I was born in Las Vegas at Nellis Air Force Base.
So you were born a sinner
Saved by grace.
in Sin City.
So yeah, then we bounced around. But my came from here in Arkansas. When I graduated from high school, my folks came to work for Heifer Project at the ranch there,
Yeah.
back when it was a really strong believing group. And
It's
so
the
they came
Heifer
there.
Project out near the 4-H there on.
Now it's a little further out. It's actually in Perry County. It's in between Williams Junction and Perryville.
Well, you know, I say you know, you may not. I was raised Methodist, so I'm very familiar with the Methodist and Heifer
Yeah,
Project
sure.
and their ministry sending heifers
Yeah,
all over the world.
All over the world, yeah. Feeding
Isn't that
people.
awesome?
So just that, and I love the policy there, teaching someone to fish, not giving them a fish, but
Yeah.
teaching them to fish so they can feed their families.
So where'd you graduate high school?
Plymouth Christian Academy in Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts. Did
Mm-hmm.
the lights ever go out in Massachusetts? I'm giving my age
Praying
away.
for a revival out there for sure.
That's a
but
fact.
yeah, so that's where I graduated.
So
from
back
high
to
school.
my original question, how did you, as a believer,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman who in their 13 colonies
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have run for office, how did you get involved in the political arena?
Well, I have a little company in Williams Junction called Bentley Plastics, and we do injection molding. So we invested all of our savings to get that company
Well,
up
everybody
and
knows
going.
what
Little Bentley cup, we have Bentley plastic tumblers that we create out there.
Oh.
So that's what we make out there. And just working right along and working hard, investing everything. When you have a small business, you invest your whole life into that, right? So we're doing that, and all of a sudden I kept hearing these things about our electricity rates doubling in 2008, and our insurance costs going through the roof and all these things. So I thought, we compete with China every day. I cannot go up any higher on my prices because there's only so far you can go. And you guys are about to put me out of business. So I started calling Vic Snyder's office here in Little Rock and informing them what their policies would do to my company that would put us out of business. And they quickly told me I had no idea what I was talking about.
Well, thank
and
you.
I said, well, thank you. I'm doing the books every week, and I pretty much can tell you that I will go out of business if these policies take effect. So the way that I was treated there, I thought we've really got to get people in office, and I need to pay attention because as a believer, I looked at that pro-life list and I voted on that pro-life list. That's really was my political involvement.
Yeah.
As a mom, raising children, that's all I cared about. But I realized we need people in office that really understand business and really godly people, because godly people make wise choices. So I got on the campaign trail with Tim Griffin at that point and helped him. I had never gone door to door. I had never been engaged in politics, but in that process met Jason Raypert running for state senate there, and so that launched me into politics, just really helping to get believers elected. Really thought it was important to get believers elected.
Driving in this morning, talking to someone on the phone, and my exact words was what I told my wife on Sunday: you should not even be able to run for office if you've never run a business.
Yeah, it would be great.
Because you have to balance a checkbook, you have to be able to meet a payroll,
Right.
you have to be able to figure out how to operate within the system. But you found out that you needed to be engaged because it's affecting your livelihood.
Right.
Hey, we're going to take a break, and we're going to find out a little bit more about the LEARNS Act, the school choice with Mary Bentley. So we'll be right back here in just a moment.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Our special guest is Mary Bentley, who serves in the House of Representatives. You're a small business owner.
Yes, sir.
You and your family still own a small business? Tell us again, because you kind of just shot through what y'all do as if all of us know what that is.
So we have an injection molding business.
What does
where
that mean?
Means that plastic is injected, is squirted forward with a lot of
Into
compression.
a mold?
To a steel mold. So it's melted, and so we'll have to do a field trip for some of your students.
Oh, that
out
would
there.
be
We'd love
cool.
for them to come
Our
in. So-
Arkansas Christian Academy, which
Yes.
is right here on our
Yeah.
studio campus. So you make,
So we make plastic tumblers that you drink out of. It's called Bentley drinkware, and so we sell it all across the country to little independent stores and to people that have condos and those kind of things. So
do you market it on the internet, on the web?
yeah, BentleyDrinkware.com. That's right where you can
Well, that's cool.
find our product. Yeah. So yeah, we wouldn't be surviving if we weren't, because everybody shops online to get on their phone and shop. So
So you recognize that so much of what's going on in the political arena, which included taxation without representation, and that was affecting you because y'all were competing against the low labor and
Right.
low cost products that come from China. And you said, hey, Vic Snyder's office, his staff, people in the Capitol, and they didn't really treat you like you really knew what you were talking about. This is too complicated to understand. So at what point then did you just get a hold of Tim Griffin and Jason Rapert and say, what can we do to make a difference?
I saw that they were running for office and talked with them to see what they were doing and what they would do differently. And again, I want believers in office. I want people that are going to seek the Lord for wisdom to do good things for our state and our nation. So I really got involved with them, and I went once. I helped Senator Rapert. He was one of the first Republicans to get elected in a very long time from our area, and went to the Capitol and watched him in action and there, and listened to committee meetings. I had never done that before, and listened to folks there, and realized, I think I could do that. I don't think it's as complicated as people try to make it out to be. That business owners are a good fit for.
All right, let me ask you a question. This may be personal, but that's what I do. You own a small business. You graduated high school. Your family were in the Air Force, so you moved around quite a bit. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to, I traveled around in college too. So I started at Grace College in Indiana, great small Christian school. Got my 2-year degree in nursing, and then I went on to Biola in California, to La Mirada, to start my 4-year degree, and ended up finishing in Searcy, at Harding University at Searcy, was where I got my Bachelor of Science degree. And then I worked in nursing for quite a while. I worked at
by
Children's
then you were
Hospital.
a registered nurse. Yeah.
Yep. So then I got my RN, and then I worked at Children's Hospital, worked in their CVICU for a good decade. Really enjoyed that, but just our business, family business was growing, and so I stepped out of that and went full-time into working at Bentley Plastics. So again, everything you've learned, you can use. The Lord will use every bit of that. And so I think just always passionate about children. Really love what you guys are doing with Second Chance Ranch. Because
In the foster care crisis. I don't think I did that right.
yeah, but no, it is. It's, it's what I love about you guys is that you're doing it right, because we see so much of it, and we hear so many horror stories, right? We hear so many horror stories about
They
kids
get
in
the
foster
news.
care are doing horrible things, but then I just love visiting with Rachel and Billy and going out to the ranch and seeing the good things that they're doing, and they're models. So I can. It's great for people to have a good model to look at, and you guys are doing such a phenomenal job with everything you're doing.
Well, I always find it interesting to hear the story of our guest, because someone just sees you in the political arena, they don't grasp, how did you get to that place? Why? And what I heard you say is, I became a nurse, which tells me why kids are important to you, because every nurse I've ever met, which would include my mother, my sister, my nieces, and on,
Right.
they always have a heart of passion and compassion for people.
Sure.
And that's why you get into teaching and in the medical field. And that really is why you're now in the political arena, which allows you to help organizations like ours help foster children.
It is so rewarding. I ran for office again because of policy and trying to help Arkansas be business friendly. But to be able to help with children in so many facets in our state, it's just been so. I can't tell you how rewarding it is. But again, to seek the Lord for wisdom on what do we need to do, and support things like Second Chance Ranch and the great things that you guys are doing. And then I get phone calls from across the state. What can we do different? How can we do it better? And so I can hook them up with you guys or with Rachel and Billy and say, this is how we do a better job of it. And there's an example to follow, which is so much easier than trying to invent the wheel yourself.
And the last time we saw each other a few months ago, we were at the Capitol, which I don't go down there much.
Right.
But we were at the Capitol because there was a special signing. Can you tell our audience about that?
Sure. So we're Every Child Arkansas is a organization bringing public and political together, so working together to make change, and the foster state, right? The whole government and the private area together, what you guys are doing, and business owners, and bringing everybody together to solve to end the foster care crisis. What can we do to make every child in Arkansas have their needs met, whether it's spiritual, physical, getting in a home, whatever it is? What does that child need, and how can we make it happen? And use the internet and all those things that we have together to get everybody working together to end this crisis.
We got about 2 minutes, and we'll cover this also in the next segment.
Sure.
But we're also, I saw you at the Capitol at another signing, more in the Rotunda area, where the governor signed the LEARNS Act.
Yeah.
Kind of controversial for some folks, but for those of us who want school choice, and we believe that parents make the best choice.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that in about 2 minutes or less?
The LEARNS Act was probably the most transformative piece of legislation that I've passed in the 9 years I've been there. It's very comprehensive. It's 144 pages because it covers a lot of areas. But you and I both agree that Arkansas is not doing well in education. We've got to do something to change. And I think you and I can both agree that competition really improves things, makes things better. So to me, one of the key things in the LEARNS Act, it brings competition into the educational arena. It desperately needs to be there. So we can have parents, what's the best choice for their child? Because every child is different. We all have a different DNA. We all have different things that have happened in our life, and we all need different things. So what's the best thing for that child at that point? And the parents can move a child to wherever they can get the best education for that child to be.
Charter school, private school, Christian school, homeschool.
Whatever's the best for that child and for that family at that time, then they can choose that. I think it's just great, and I think it's going to really be, again, transform education in our state and make our state a model for other states to look to.
My daughter is in her 26th or 27th year of teaching down in Texarkana, Texas. And so I have a heart for teachers. I've been in about 700 public schools in the state of Arkansas, elementary to high school, spoken and met with lots of educators, superintendents, teacher in service, all those things back in the 1990s. And what the LEARNS Act affords us to do is for teachers to give our new teachers coming out of college a raise. Yeah. And that is so important. They spend so much of their time and pour out so much of their heart every day helping children. And Arkansas has been on the lower pay scale. And this LEARNS Act not only allows parents a choice, but it gives greater compensation from about $38,000 to $40,000 to up to about 50, a little bit more. Yeah. So we're going to talk more about that and about you, and we might mention Jesus in this next segment. So we'll take a break and watch this video of children in care, and we'll be right back.
My name is Kyle, and I'm 10 years old. I like to play football. When I grow up, I want to be a football player. My favorite team is Chiefs. My favorite movie is Batman. I like math and science and stuff like that.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
Give it to my kids, my mom and my dad. I want to go to Las Vegas.
What would you do there?
Explore. My favorite food is burger. My favorite flavor is chocolate.
So let's talk about a forever family. Is that something that you want?
Listen.
You tell me why?
'Cause I want to be with a family. 'Cause I just want to have somebody to love.
What would you want to do with your family?
Play with them, play video games with them, and just hang around with them.
I guess my last question is, if you could have one wish, what would you wish for?
To be a superhero.
What superhero do you want to be?
Superman.
Hey, welcome back. You know, on the third segments, Mary, we're always coming back from a Project Zero video where they're actually working with DCFS and they're able to show children in care that are looking for a forever family.
Right.
And you get to not only see them, you get to hear their words, you hear their heart, just looking for a family. We had a child recently that came to us, and beautiful home that we built for them, and the foster parents are just really connecting with them. And they've come out of some real traumatic, tragic, difficult home situations. And the little child looked up to the foster mom and said, "Mom, can I live here forever and just have Mama come visit me here?" That's why at Second Chance Ranch and all the ministries that are in our state that are involved in foster care, Baptist Home, Compact, you just name any of them.
Sure.
That's why we do what we do. It's to give these children the life that all of us really deserve, that God wants for us.
Yeah.
And over, when they arrive at Second Chance Ranch, they attend our church here, Family Church Bryant. They attend our children's ministry or our teen ministry, or their foster parents attend church when they're with their kids, which are 24/7. And we see these children encounter Jesus. Isn't that awesome?
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So tell me, when it comes to the LEARNS Act, what can people that are watching, because next year it's going to include the EMTs and people that are veterans, I think, emergency responders, and then in the fall of 2025, every child in Arkansas will have the privilege for their parents to choose which avenue of schooling will they take, homeschool, parochial, private, charter, public.
Right. And, you know, we have education savings accounts. Even some of those funds can be used for tutoring if a child needs more tutoring in certain areas. So it's really just going to open up an avenue. I don't think parents really grasp how much a choice they're going to have to be able to help their children get the best education and be successful. That's what we want, is for children to be successful. So it really focuses on parents having the opportunity to choose what's best for their child, again, whatever avenue that may be, and also have funds left over for tutoring if that's what's going to help that child to be successful.
Do you as a person in the House, Arkansas House, do you have the right to share your opinion? Because I'm going to ask you an opinion question.
I share my opinion every day.
You might
Some
share
people
your
listen
opinion.
and some people don't. But I
Don't
do
even have to
share.
ask, you'll share it anyway. Why do you think, and I'm sure there's a myriad of answers, but why do you think there was opposition to the LEARNS Act and school choice?
Fear. A lot of people were, there was a whole
Lack
lot
of
of
knowledge.
lack of knowledge. And people were, unfortunately, there's people that like to lie about that were opposing it, that really were putting some myths, truths out there to teachers that we were going to end public schooling, which is the last thing on earth we're trying to do. We're trying to make it the best public schools in the nation. That's our focus. And again, when you're talking about giving teachers a raise, we have a lot of small schools in my district. They have a hard time keeping teachers there. And this allows them to compete with larger schools, and a lot of teachers would much rather stay in a smaller town, but again, if you're trying to pay off your school loans or whatever, it's hard for you to stay there. So it allows all of our small schools to compete with the bigger schools with salaries. So it's a win-win in so many areas, but that message was not getting out there. That message was being drowned by those who are saying we're trying to kill public schools and we hate public schools. And
we
that's
need
totally
public schools.
Well, heaven's sakes, we're never going to, I want them to be the best in the nation. We expect great things for our kids, and we want them to be successful. And we're a lot in the LEARNS Act is career paths, different career paths, because we know a lot of students aren't going to go to college. So what path is best for them? How can we let them know what occupations are available in Arkansas? What job can you have? How much will that job make? Where do you need to go to school? And all those different things. We're going to integrate those career paths into our schools, and I think it's, in the end, we're going to have a much more successul state. And that we want to end poverty, right? That's the whole thing that leads to all the tragedy that leads to foster care is so much. It's always integrated with poverty. So if we can decrease that, and then I think we'll have less foster kids, we'll have families that are stronger and staying together. But again, the key to it all is bringing the Lord into the whole situation, having children that opportunity to come. And when I voted for that bill, I was specifically thinking about the kids at Second Chance Ranch and giving them an opportunity to come here and get loved on by teachers. They're not going to have that opportunity. For those kids, it's not going to happen in a public school because it's much larger and doesn't. But here, they're going to be able to get that one-on-one and get that extra love that they need to get through that trauma.
About 5 years ago, actually before the LEARNS Act school choice passed, I asked the previous superintendent of Bryant Schools, I said, "Hey Doc, if all of my ranch students left Bryant school system and came, or the Benton school system, and came to Arkansas Christian Academy, would you have, back then 28, now it's over 50 foster children that we care for every day. I think we're up to 54. With the new house, it'll be 60 come November of 2023. I said, would you have 28 empty desks? He looked at me and said, Pastor Perry, we don't have enough desks already.
Right.
So we're not in competition with public schools.
No.
We should be in partnership with our community. And so what the LEARNS Act allows is the foster children that want to attend Arkansas Christian Academy can attend. Now what we bring here on this campus is our case managers for our foster children are right here on the same campus. Our clinical director and our other social psychologist or LCSW, they're on this campus.
That's great.
And our teachers are all Christian. We have chapel every day, and then we have classes, and we're fully accredited. So, and I don't think having 500 kids here every day is a threat to Bryant or Benton or Bauxite or Little Rock or any other public school system. So, but we see the transformation because we have a network of folks right here on campus to help our children that are already in a traumatic situation where they've been from one county to another county to one school to another school. Unlike being in the Air Force, like your family, our kids are coming out of difficult situations. We got about a minute. Would you look at camera 2 and tell folks why they should get involved in fostering, mentoring, and adopting, whether it's through Second Chance Ranch or any other great organization in our state?
I would say if you want to end this generational poverty that we have in Arkansas, the best thing you can do is just get engaged. There's so many avenues to help in the Second Chance Ranch, being a person that comes and instrumentally helps foster parents, encouraging those to adopt. It's just, you can make a child life change, and you can make it change for generations. When we stop that cycle of poverty, we just end a new starting a new generation of serving the Lord, and those people being folks that can again get in to make a big difference. So I think to really end, I know all of us drive around and see poverty across our state, and we just love to see an end to the drug crisis that we have here. This is a key way. This is the way to change in the future for our kids to make a difference. And there's so many avenues to get in and help with Second Chance Ranch, or even your local folks here with so many folks that are trying to get a foster. Could be a support for them. Allow them to take a night out or a weekend off, or give them some financial aid, some assistance to help with those kids. We can all help. If we all did our part, we'd end the foster care crisis.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's why we're on the air. Thank you, VTM, Pastor and Sister Caldwell, for letting us be in partnership with you to get the word out every week that mentoring, fostering, and adoption can end the foster care crisis in Arkansas. See you next week. Bye-bye.
God bless.